Hello everyone, this is Carlos Madruga. I'm the programmer of Norseman II, and in this video I'll give you an overview of the game and tell you a little bit about how gameplay works. So, Norseman II is the new release from Koei Gamers, and as the name says, it is a sequel to Norseman. So, the idea is that in Norseman II, you are the son of the warrior from Norseman I. And just like in the first Norseman, in this game, you also have to protect a helmet from the forces of evil. In Norseman 2, you have to protect the helmet, but also you have to be aware that Odin is looking at you and affecting the gameplay all the time, either by rewarding you or punishing you. You always have to be aware of the things that he's doing to the game. I'll start the game shortly here, but I just wanted to say, as part of the Norseman II development team, I'll show you the credits. It was a real pleasure to collaborate with Tix and Justin Cheer as part of the graphics. Music by Anders Carlson. The design for Norseman 2 I did in partnership with Patrice or Tanuki from Koei Gamers, and the game was tested by the great Craig Finstad. So with that said, I'll start the game, and I'll pause it right away. So you can pause the game by pressing clear, and that is also indicated on the overlay if you have the physical version. So basically in Norseman, the entire screen represents a battlefield, and if you have played the first Norseman, this is the same concept, right? So the screen is divided in hexes, and you move around from one hex to another, right? And you can see there's a helmet at the center of the screen indicated there. And on top of that helmet, there is a warrior represented, and that's you, right? So your warrior it has a sword and a shield, and the idea is that you can move around that battlefield by jumping from one hex to another, and also you can wear the helmet and carry the helmet with you and drop it in different positions. Now the reason why you would do that is because of the monsters that will soon appear, and they always appear at the top row of hexes over there on the battlefield, and they'll move from top to bottom. So in this game, you have to, as it says in the beginning, protect the helmet, and you don't want to let the monsters step into the same hex as the helmet, right? So it normally makes sense to move it further down in the screen, and sometimes to protect it behind kind of barricades that you can create as you play. And I'll explain how to create those barricades in a second. But one difference between Norseman 2 and Norseman 1 is that dashboard that you can see at the top of the screen. So I'll walk you quickly through what that dashboard says. So going from left to right, you have the wave counter, and that indicates basically the progress of the game. You always start at wave 0, meaning that the monsters are a little easier, right? And then you progress through more advanced waves, and monsters get harder and harder to fight, right? They become stronger and all that faster. So that's the wave counter. And what defines a wave is basically they're all monsters of the same, let's say, species, right? So they all look the same, but they have different colors. So those are the kind of the standard monsters. But each wave also has what is called a mini boss, and the mini boss is the last monster to spawn in that wave. And the mini boss is a little faster and stronger, right? So you want to be aware of that before engaging with a mini boss. Another thing you can see here, right next to wave is a small purse icon, and that indicates your gold. So in Norseman II, you can carry gold and you can spend that gold in different upgrades, right? So that adds a new element to the game. And I'll explain some of those upgrades later in this video. Next, you can see a sword and a shield, and numbers right next to each one. Those numbers indicate your attack power. So one means when you attack a monster, you're gonna give him a 1 point of damage. And the number 2 right next to your shield indicates that you can take up to 2 hits before your shield goes away, right? You can suffer 2 attacks before it goes away. Next, you have level. So your character starts always at level 0, which is the lowest level. And you can upgrade him all the way to level 5. And I'll explain how later. Finally, you have HP, which stands for hit points. And the idea is this. As you get attacked, your shield will take the hits initially. But as your shield hits 0, then the damage will start coming from your hit points. And you don't want that to happen, right? So one thing you need to manage in Norseman II is your gear, and try to keep it in good shape, right? Because your gear will get damaged. So there are ways in which you can repair it, and I'll show you later again in this video. But for now, I will unpause and let the monsters come in. And as they spawn at the top of the screen, I'll move the helmet here to the south a little bit. And I'll pause again and explain another element of gameplay, which is there's a new character that showed up on the left-hand side. That one is a traveling mage. So in Norseman II, it's not just about the monsters, but from time to time you may be visited by different characters, and traveling mage is basically a vendor who can sell you some items to make your life a little easier, right? But those items all require gold. So I'm not going to visit him, and the idea is that you can visit the vendors by entering the same square, hex. But I'm not going to do that for now because I don't have any gold. So to get gold, you basically have to kill monsters and then complete quests, right? So eventually a quest will show up, and that's one way of for Odin to give you something, right? Mandate you to do something. So I'll explain quests once I'm giving one, but just know that quests are another new element of Norseman II in relation to Norseman I. And they give you gold. And in addition to gold, quests also allow you to upgrade your character, so you can go from level 0 to 1, 2, 3, etc., all the way to 5, right? So I'll pause the game, and I'll start killing some monsters. And to kill monsters, you have to move to the same hex as they are. And as you do that, you see I just killed my first monster. It left the carcass from that monster in that hex. So what happens is, that helps build barricades, because the monsters cannot walk through that carcass, right? So I'll pause again and explain another element here. On the left-hand side, now you have a gold chest. So if I walk in there, I'll get some gold, of course. Notice they already have two gold pieces, right? And that's because I killed 2 monsters. So the idea is that as the monsters get more powerful, you get more gold. But you need to keep killing monsters to get money, right? Another thing that happened was at the top of the screen you can see there is a mini-boss, and that's the blinking monster. Mini-bosses will blink between yellow and white, right? So because I froze the screen here, it shows as white, but if I unfreeze it, then you're going to see it blinking, right? So mini-bosses are the last monsters to spawn, and once I kill all the monsters that you see here, a new wave will appear, right? So before I do that, I'll just pick up that gold. I have to be careful about my helmet. So I'll kill this monster here, that one, and I'll pause again and just explain. Another quote-unquote character just showed up, and you can see that anvil with a hammer, right? That keeps beating on the anvil. That one is the forge. So that's another type of vendor that you have. And what the forge does is it allows you to upgrade your shield and sword. So you start with the lowest level equipment called copper, and you can upgrade that um, to steel and then to mithril, which is the best type of gear around, right? So I'm not gonna visit the forge yet. I'll keep killing monsters and getting a little more gold. And I have a quest now. So in that quest, I have a certain number of monsters that I have to kill in a certain amount of time. And I just did that, and what happens is Odin is pleased with what I did by completing the quest, and he's telling me that I should take the helmet to that position. And if I do that, he'll reward me with an upgrade to my character, right? So I'll go from level 0 to level 1. The thing is, it's a little risky to drop the helmet there. I'll take my chances here. So by pressing the side button, you can pick up the helmet and move around with it. Just be aware that when you pick up the helmet, you have no shield, right? So you can see, I'll just pick it again, and the shield is blinking, right? Shield is red and blinking and with 0 right next to it. If I drop it by pressing the side button, it will go back to what it was before, right? True. So that means you should not be moving around with the helmet all the time. One reason is because of the shield that goes away. The other reason is because you get a little slower as you're moving the helmet, because the helmet is very heavy. So I'll just pick up this gold chest here. So you want to leave helmets in safe places, right? And I have a quest going on, so I'm not going to visit the forge yet. Keep killing monsters, kill this mini boss. So notice that I attacked the mini boss once, it didn't die. It's blinking red because it's hurt. I'll attack it again. Unfortunately, I failed the quest. And what happens was, when you fail the quest, you get downgraded. So I went back to level 0. That's okay. You can keep trying the quests and be upgraded, right? So um, we'll kill the monsters here. And notice that the monsters always move from top to bottom, like I said. And a good approach is to kill them by coming from the top, right? So they cannot reach you. Because if they move first, they have the initiative, right? And then they cause you damage. So I'll be giving another quest. I don't want to mess that up. 2 monsters to go. So that's the little sword, indicates the number of monsters left. And the hourglass there indicates the time, so I was able to complete the quest this time. And I'm gonna bring the helmet to where Odin wants me to bring it. Alright, I was just upgraded, so I'm now at level 1. And my HP was upgraded, right? So you can see now I have 2 squares on the HP. That means I can take two hits when I'm without the shield. Now I have a somewhat like a little bit of gold. I'll visit the forge now, and I'll show you what's in there. So basically, when you enter the forge, you have the option to either fix your gear, which I don't need because my shield is in good shape. But otherwise, you would see instead of that checkbox, check mark, you would see a written fix, right? So if you do that, you can spend some money and take your shield to back to a good state, right? Undamaged. But at this point, I have enough gold to actually upgrade my gear. And you can either upgrade that to steel gear or mithril gear. I have 93 gold, which means I could jump straight to mithril gear if I wanted to. But I don't know that I'll do that. And the reason for that is because you have to be careful about how you upgrade your character in Norseman II. So you can certainly, do like I did in here, save up some good amount of gold, and I'd say as you get close to 100, that's a decent amount of gold to have, and just do big leaps in terms of your upgrades, or you can, do more modest upgrades and diversify them a little bit. So what happens is if I buy the Mithril gear, of course, I'm going to basically be out of gold for a while, right? Until I save enough to make another substantial upgrade. But at least I'll be maximized on my gear, right? So that's one approach. Um, Another approach is I take steel gear and then maybe I visit the traveling mage and get some other gear to right upgrade my character. So it's really a matter of styles. Either way, let me show you here item descriptions. If you click on item descriptions, it will show you the difference between those types of gear. So you start with copper, which only has, you can see there the attack power is 1, and the shield can take 2 attacks. If you go to steel, it's 2 and 3, and mithril is 3 and 4, right? So I think what I'll do is I'll go to steel for now, right? So I'll be left with 43 gold pieces, and that's enough for me for now. I'll go back to the battlefield. So you can see now my gear is in the white color, right? So the gear changes colors. I was given another quest, and I have the traveling mage there also popped up. I'll just kill that monster, and since I'm close to the mage, I'll visit him. Alright, so the traveling mage will offer you different types of possible upgrades. And on item descriptions, you have a summary of what each of those items do. And here you have the different prices, right, listed. I have 47 gold, which means I can buy the boots of speed if I wanted to. I also have enough money to buy the health potion, but if I try to do that, it won't let me because my HP is already at max, right? So I think what I'll do instead is buy the boots of speed. And what the boots of speed do is they accelerate your character so you can move around faster. And that's helpful because, right, especially when it comes to quests, you need to be able to get to a larger number of monsters relatively fast, right? So moving around is a good way to be more competitive when it comes to, right, the quests. So if you are in doubt about what each item does, you can always click on item descriptions, right? And it will show you, right? But for now, I'll just buy the boots of speed. There we go. I used almost all my gold, and I'll go back to the battlefield. So now I'm back, and you can see that I'm a little faster. I can move around a little faster, right? So I'll use that to my advantage and sneak behind the monsters and kill this boss. Now one thing I have to be careful is here at the top is the monster spawn zone. Oops, so you see one monster almost spawning on top of me. That's pretty bad. If you let a monster spawn on the same hex as you are, that will cause what is called a telefrag. And a telefrag will kill you instantly, no matter what your gear is. So I'll complete this quest here, and now I'm at level 2. And you can see my hit points were upgraded again. Now what happens at level 2 is I have one more character that will visit me, and he just showed up. And he's the Mysterious Horseman, so I'll visit him. The Mysterious Horseman will only start showing up when you're a level 2 or above. And what he does is he'll offer you powers. And powers are another element of gameplay in Norseman that if you have played Norseman 1, you did not have powers in there. The idea is that each power that you receive from the Mysterious Horseman um, has a different type of characteristic, right? So the first one he'll offer you is always going to be the gift of ubiquity. So if you click on side button, the Mysterious Horseman will explain what is that about, right? So he'll say, well, to use this power, you need to be at level 2 plus. And that's important because if you don't complete quests, you can be downgraded and you may become ineligible to use the power, right? So remember that. Um, but if you get upgraded again, you may go back to use this power. The second thing the Mysterious Horseman will always tell you is how to engage a power. So the powers need to be first engaged, and then they have to be released, right? So in order to engage a power, you have to kill a certain combination of colors, right? Monsters with a certain combination of colors. So for this particular power, you have to kill monsters that are either blue or green, and you have to kill one of each, right? It doesn't matter the sequence, right? So it can be blue then green or green then blue. So if you do that, the power will be engaged, and then you have a keypad button assigned to each power. In this case, it's button number 2. So if you're playing the physical version, that will be indicated on the overlay, right? You're going to see there, Gift of Ubiquity, right? And if you click there and the power is already engaged, it will be used or released. And you're going to see the power, right, do its thing. And what this power does is it kills all enemies horizontally. So that means any enemies on the same row of hexes as you will be affected by this power and they'll be instantly killed. Right, so click on side button to exit, and now I'm back to the battlefield, and there's a new icon on the left side of the screen. That's the Gift of Ubiquity, right? So the number 2 indicates that whenever it's engaged, I'll be able to press number 2, right, the keypad 2, to execute it. But if I do that now, it won't work because it's not engaged, right? So to engage it, I have to kill a blue and a green monster again. So let me kill that blue monster. Oh, he attacked me first, it's okay. So it damaged my shield, but I'm fine. Let's see if I can get to that green monster there. And I have a quest going on, so I should probably prioritize the quest. Otherwise I'll be downgraded. I don't want to be downgraded by Odin. Have to please the boss, right? So, alright. So I completed the... No, I have not completed the quest. What I'm saying. Now, yes, I have completed the quest. And what happened was, Odin is asking me to move the helmet to that particular hex at the top. And by doing so, I'll be upgraded, right? But Odin does not like wimps, I have to say. So he selected a hex that is not very easy to get to, but I was able to maneuver around those monsters and get there. So now I'm at level 3. And I was gonna say, my power is engaged, right? Because through all this fray here, I was able to kill a blue and a green monster, and the power is now blinking, right? You can see the item blinking on the left side of the screen. So if I press 2, it will activate the power. So what I'll do is I'll get in position here, and press 2. Right, so it activated the Gift of Ubiquity, and it killed that monster. So now I have to re-engage it, right? Before I use it again, I'll just visit Mysterious Horseman again, and now he's giving me another power. That's the Gift of Frost. And to receive the Gift of Frost, you need to be at level 3 or above, right? And then, uh, just like the Gift of Ubiquity, the Mysterious Horseman will always explain what the power is about. So in this case, you have to kill a blue and a cyan monster, right? No, doesn't matter the sequence, to engage the power. And then I press 3 to release this power. And what this power does is it freezes all the enemies uh, in the screen temporarily, right? So it's a good power to be used, particularly if your helmet is in a vulnerable position and you don't have enough time to get back to it. So sometimes by using this power, you can get there on time and, right, kill the monsters because the monsters become vulnerable when they're frozen. All right, so now I have this power here, and you can see there's a new icon there with number 3. That's the the new power I just got. And I'll complete this quest here. There we go. Drop the helmet here. I'm not being smart and attacking a mini boss frontally, but it's okay. There we go. I think let me complete this quest here instead of visiting the mage. Alright, I killed this monster. There we go. Let me upgrade. Now Odin was a little more reasonable, and he gave me a hex very close to where my helmet was. So that was easy. Now the Mysterious Horseman is going to show up again and give me another power. The new owl keep killing monsters. There's a gold chest there, I'll make sure to get it. Oh, you notice that monster at the top, he just died by itself. That happens when a monster cannot move, he will just die. Alright, there's the Mysterious Horseman, I'll visit him. And he's gonna give me Lucky's Ray. And what this does is, right, I have to kill a green and a white monster. Press 4. And then what it does is it will keep flashing things around you, and whenever monsters get caught in that flash, they'll be automatically killed. So it's a good defensive type of power. And you can see on the right side of the screen there's now an icon, right, for Lucky's Ray. So I'll use power number 2 here since it's already engaged. There you go. Get this monster here and start a new wave. And what I'll do here, I think I'll demonstrate the Gift of Frost. Press 3, so you can see that the monsters are frozen. And I can kill them. So there's a timer on the power itself before the monsters come back. And what happens is I also have a quest active, so we'll keep alternating between the quest power and the quest, the timer for the power and the quest timer. Now it's only showing the quest because the power is spent, right? And I can engage the Lucky's Ray power now. I'll do that, just to demonstrate it. So what happens is, from time to time, you can see there's the thunder. You cannot control the thunder, it will just do its thing from time to time. And you can see the timer there, right? As I was doing that, I was able to complete the quest, which is great. So I'll just take my helmet to that position. And now I'm level up all the way to level 5. Get this boss here, and I'll visit the Mysterious Horseman and get the last power. That's called Transcendence. That's the highest level power. And to use it, you need to be level 5. And to engage it, I need to kill white and purple monsters and press 5 to release it. And what it does is, remember all those carcasses that are accumulating on the battlefield? If you press 5 and engage this power, you'll be actually able to walk through the carcasses. Just be careful that if the power runs out and you're in the middle, right, of maybe a section that has a lot of carcasses, you can get stuck. And if you get stuck, you have to wait until those carcasses will decompose before you can move on, right? So, in the meanwhile, hopefully your helmet is in a safe position, because if it is not, then it will be tough. So I'll just go back to the battlefield here, and now you can see the last icon on the right. That is Transcendence. So use power number 2 here to kill these monsters. So now I'm in reasonable good shape. I'll just visit the forge to upgrade to the highest level gear. So you can see my full gear. I have 129 gold. I can pay for it. It's 90. So just go ahead and buy it instead of fixing my steel gear. And now I have a high level character with the highest level gear. Right, so I'm doing well gameplay wise. Of course, I can always be attacked. and I have all the powers, so let me use Transcendence. Actually, not Transcendence. Lucky's Ray. I have a quest going on. I can tell that by the song that is playing, right? So I used Lucky's Ray to help me complete this quest. That monster is stuck in there. Got him anyway. Alright. Kill that last monster there. Just one more to go. I have a lot of time, so no hurry. Okay, so I completed the quest, and since I'm already at level 5, I just get like a kudos from Odin, but I'm not going to be leveled up anymore. So you may say, well, if you're already leveled up to the max, why even bother about quests? And I'd say, well, because you gotta please the boss, right? So if you don't complete the quests, you can actually be downgraded, and I don't want to do that. So now I have created a situation in which there are a lot of characters at the top, and that's good because it's creating kind of a tough layout for the monsters to navigate. So that monster is kind of enclosed in there, and he can wrap around the screen, right? I cannot, unless I buy a specific piece of gear. So now the battlefield changed colors again to indicate difficulty is now at the maximum level, and the monsters are very fast and stronger, right? So I have the highest level gear, and I can kill these monsters in one shot. But if I had maybe steel or copper steel, I would have to, even regular monsters, I would have to hit more than once. Oh, I have to protect the helmet here. And you can tell also that the music is playing faster, right? Things are a little tense. That monster got stuck and got killed automatically. I'm in good shape relative to my gold. I think I'll demonstrate Transcendence. I'll hit 5. Right, so now I can walk through the carcasses. So that's an option if you want to attack monsters from inside the carcasses. It's a good move because they cannot reach you, right? So there's a little tip. Oops. So you can see that my gear is getting damaged. Visually, right? It will start showing some scratches. And I think I'll visit the forge after I kill this monster, so I can fix my gear. Activate Lucky's Ray again. Since I have the power, might as well use it. As a traveling mage, I want to spend my gold. There you go. So, what I'll do next is buy the Ring of Phasing. And what the Ring of Phasing does is it allows you to kind of wrap around the screen as you move. So you can go from left to right, or right to left, right? If you're on the close to the borders, right? Or you can go up and down, right? Like if you're at the top row, you can show up at the bottom one. So I'll buy this one because it's a good way to, stay nimble and move around. Now the game is kind of fast, so I have to be careful. And also wanted to say that you can only activate one power at a time. Right? So if you're using one power, you cannot use another one. freeze all the monsters. There we go. Get that going. Alright, so I think I'll stop here. I demonstrated all the main features of the game, and I hope you'll have a chance to play Norseman and try out different upgrades, and try different ways to play the game. For instance, you may choose to emphasize spending more money on the gear from the Traveling Mage instead of going for a Forge upgrade. And you can choose to prioritize making money over completing quests if you want to. Of course, you're not going to get upgraded, but that's also one approach to play the game. And I hope you have enjoyed this walkthrough, and see you in the battlefield. Bye bye.